So the Game Awards have come and passed, and who won Game of the Year? Not Doom Eternal, not Hades, not Ghost of Tsushima, not any other game that was deserving of the title of Game of the Year. It was one of the most critically panned games of the last 10 years, made with a horrendously long crunch cycle that was pretty harmful to the employees of this company, and had a story that completely shat on the characters, and is being helmed by one of the worst people in the gaming industry. Yes, The Last of Us fucking 2 won Game of the Year. How? And not only did it win Game of the Year, it won Best Action Game. In a year where Doom Eternal comes out, and you win Best Action Game despite the fact that your action is not even that damn good, and Doom Eternal has some of the best animated gore and violence that I've ever seen? How? Oh, I know how. Because it's rigged. It's rigged. It was all rigged from the start. It was all rigged from the start, and I'm pissed, I'm disappointed by it. But I'm gonna start on the two little topics here. So first we're gonna talk about the crunch that Naughty Dog can get away with now, apparently, because of Neil, and how it screwed over Doom Eternal. Okay. The crunch. Holy shit. This game underwent a 7-year-long development cycle, from 2013 to this year. In fact, if it wasn't for the pandemic, the game I don't even think would have been released even this year. Maybe even not even till the end of the year. But no. It got crunched because Neil was an egotistical maniac. He kept on messing with things. He was messing with the people. Instead of making a game that was good enough to be released a few years ago, he decided to keep fucking with it. He made so many unnecessary changes that the whole team was getting messed up. They couldn't really figure out what to do. And then, like I said, this is like I said in another video, the whole reason people were mad at Naughty Dog at first wasn't because of the leaks. It was because of the workplace conditions. And then a lot of people have been comparing it to CD Projekt Red and how people have been treating them in the media for their crunch. That's different. That's not crunch done by one man's ego. That's crunch of a team trying their best to get a game out. And was it a successful crunch? It's debatable. But this was a team trying to do what they could. Not one man fucking with everything and basically just getting a bunch of money while not even releasing a product. Because that's what Neil did. He kept delaying and delaying and delaying the release of a product, getting a bunch of money and getting a bunch more power by driving people out in Naughty Dog. This started in 2014 with Uncharted 4, and it's continued on to the present day. And he has been rewarded for that, despite the fact that he underwent a really harmful crunch, was driving employees out and would make them sign non-affidavits. And not only that, when his stupid ass plot got leaked, he decided, I'm going to be such a petty cunt, I'm going to have Sony fucking claim people's videos for even remotely talking about it. That's pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. I don't see how anyone can take him seriously after that. It's even in the media. Even though the media are a bunch of fucking lolcows, they would think, oh, even they would be like, yeah, this dude's a retard. And I've seen some people do it, but not a lot. A lot of people praise Neil Druckmann because, oh, he has all the right political opinions and the right opinions on what a woman should look like in a video game. Why? You people are idiots. So, this whole thing, it just gives studios more incentives to do crunch, because if they're not going to be held accountable for it, a lot more people are going to do that. You'll see a lot more games that are going to be pretty bad in the near future, made in similar conditions to this. Fuck. I wouldn't be surprised if Gearbox is in that situation again, since, you know, they're basically the masters of bullshit and development times. Just wait, though. It's going to be a freaking accepted practice now, because of Neil. How anyone still defends that dude, after all that we've been figuring out over this past year about the development of The Last of Us 2, and his shitty ass behavior in regards to people criticizing him, rightly so, for the writing decisions in The Last of Us 2 and how he has tried to deflect on that. I'm sick of it. Absolutely sick of it. So now we're going to go on to Doom Eternal, and if you've been playing all these other games that I haven't played that were up for Game of the Year, all those games and how they were basically screwed over. But I'm going to talk mainly about Doom Eternal in this part, though. Doom Eternal completely revolutionized Doom 2016's gameplay. Doom 2016's gameplay, remember, won that Game of the Year. At least I'm pretty sure it did, and if it didn't, it better have won at least a good action game. So, this is a game where you can chainsaw demons in half, blow people away blow like 3 lesser demons away with one blast of the super shotgun, kill things with the BFG. You have all this gore, amazing music, and amazing art style. And it doesn't even win Best Action Game, let alone Game of the Year. It didn't even need to win Game of the Year, it just had to be Best Action Game because that's what it is. Doom Eternal is by far the best action game, maybe ever, so far. It's a fast game, it's brutal, it's oppressive, but you have the freedom to go about it like you need to. There is a lot of stuff you can do with it. But yet, it got snubbed just like all of these other games like Ghost of Tsushima and Hades, and a few others. Games that were not made with this bullshit crunch cycle. I know id kind of had a problem with, they had to delay the game because they had to iron out the kinks. But they didn't screw anything up here. The only thing they really screwed up was Mick Gordon, and yeah, that situation I'm not going to go into right now, but all these other games made by developers that care. Made by developers that are trying to do what they can with what they have to make a good game. They're not trying to spread virtues out all over your face. They're not trying to beat you over the head and force you to like their product. They're just trying to make a good game. And all of these guys got snubbed. Like all of these games, other than The Last of Us 2 that were up for Game of the Year, deserved a shot. They got a shot, but that shot was taken away from them because they were never really given one. It was all rigged from the start for The Last of Us 2. Even though that game, like I said, one of the most panned games out there that you will ever see. Oh, you'll still see some defenders, but the number of defenders is paling in comparison to those who have bashed the shit out of it with the damn hammer. The game is that bad. I still haven't even beaten it yet, because I just gotten to a point where I just can't right now. It's... Why? Why? You're rewarding a guy who cares nothing more than for his own ego. All he is ego. That's all Neil Druckmann is. He drove out Amy Hennig for God's sake from Naughty Dog over his own ego because she didn't fall into the political line that he wanted her to. You kidding me? I don't see how giving Neil that Game of the Year award with The Last of Us 2, a game that he single-handedly ruined, all the potential, all the storytelling, all of the gameplay improvements, all of that was stripped bare so he could tell his bullshit. It's pathetic. It is all absolutely pathetic how a guy can basically just do that and get away with it too, because he spouts the right things. If this was done in a situation like, say, CD Projekt Red, for example, they were trying to make their game, and they had several, backlags, and they had to delay it a few times because they're a lot smaller team. CD Projekt Red is their own studio. They only have backing from Warner Brothers in this. They were trying to make a truly original game. That takes a lot of time. It's like the Mass Effect 1 days. BioWare. BioWare's development was not a good development cycle. They were trying to do what they could with the technology and to make a compelling action game at the same time. There was a lot of stuff you have to go through. There's a lot of growing pains there, and especially with the coronavirus pandemic screwing people up this year, people have had it a lot harder on themselves. But like I've said before, people are going out to CD Projekt Red for their crunch, but completely ignoring The Last of Us 2, even though, like I said, CD Projekt Red is the entirety of the team doing this on their own. This isn't like Rockstar and not paying people for their crunch when they were doing Red Dead Redemption 2. This was these guys all coming together saying, look, we need to get this done. And so we need to work more hours. And that's what they did. They worked a lot longer than they probably should have. And it probably led to a lot of compromises. It's probably why people are making memes about the console ports of Cyberpunk right now. And why it's pretty hard for people to even consider playing it. Hell, there's people turning it in because they don't want to play it on console because it looks bad. But they were trying. This isn't malicious. What Neil did was malicious. Everything he's been doing with this development cycle since Amy Hennig got drove out has been malicious. He drove out Amy Hennig, he drove out the guy who directed the first Last of Us with him. He's pissed off a bunch of people who, on his dev team, and testers. How this dude still has a job in the gaming industry is beyond me. But then again, PlayStation is full of a bunch of freaking pussies. Based in LA, despite the fact you're a Japanese company and you're kowtowing to modern American SJW bullshit that nobody wants. So, yeah. This whole thing with the Game Awards is fraudulent. It's bullshit. There's only one good thing that comes out of this. It just proves that getting an award doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Not anymore. The Oscars, the Game Awards, all that type of stuff used to be prestigious things meant for people who could make quality. And it's not even there anymore. They're making categories for race quotas. They're making categories for bullshit. And when they award something, they don't award it for someone who did the best with what they had and made a really good work of art. They're just giving it based on virtue and political bullshit. And I'm sick of it. Absolutely sick of it. Well, Neil, looks like you got me to continue my fucking playthrough of your shitty ass game then. Great. Now I have to suffer even more with Abby.